when I got married newly, there were a lot of things I wanted to change my husband. Just like I know you too. When you got married, there were things. Even when you were dating your man, there are things you have made a mental note of that these are the things you are going to change about him. So did I. So when we got married, I tried to change him, and I'm going to share an instance where I tried that. I tried that in different things and it did not work. And because of that, I went into searching what I could do to improve my relationship with him. And I also want to let you know that a man is not without a fault, just like a woman is not without a fault. Sometimes we women we think that it is our responsibility to pack carry a man and change him and improve him and make him a better man, a better husband, a better father. Okay, in one of the areas where I tried to change my husband was in the area of his dressing. Initially, when we got married, he was not really into his clothes. Um, he's a very simple person at heart, and it's reflected in his dressing. I actually didn't like it, and he had started making money to a point that he should also start reflecting, but he was not. There's this particular dress my husband didn't like wearing, and that was senator. And I know that there are some functions that you will go to in our time. I live in Nigeria, Africa, that you're supposed to come as a married man wearing these clothes. Okay, things like wedding, traditional marriage, child education, going to Sunday service and all that. He actually didn't want to. He was a jeans and t-shirt kind of person, and I really liked it. I did all I could. In fact, I even went to the point of making these clothes for him with his money. We put our monies together, but we have personal funds that we allocate to ourselves. Even with all of these things that I did, I'll make the clothes and bring them back. Sometimes I'll make them in batches, two at a time, three at a time, four at a time. And you know, wait. If he sees that it's actually hurting me, he may decide to wear it once or twice, and he will drop the ball. I just knew it was not working. When I applied the principles I am about to teach you, he came back and he started wearing it to the point that he's now giving me funds to make the dress for him. Even to the point that he's now telling me to choose for him what he will wear. When we got married, it was not like that because I felt like I was more passionate than he is. I could do this, I can recommend and all that. The more I recommended, the more he blatantly refused the recommendations. And it was not because he was not good on my recommendations were bad. It was just that I wasn't doing it the right way. But now when he was to go out, he would be like, baby, what should I wear? What should I this? And I was like, okay, wear this and you wear it and it will be nice. And what's the change? The difference is that I changed. I stopped trying to change him. I changed, and him by himself, he woke up and responded to my change. So what did I do? And that thing is accept him as he is. You see, it's not your job. Your husband is an adult. It's not your job to try to change him. You have to accept him. In the Fifth Web Academy, in our first class, we learned a lot areas that women want to change him and other stuff. So I'm not going to go right there, but show you how exactly that you are going to accept this man. But before we get into that, let me show you the methods that women use to try to change their man. For example, they make a lot of demands, they threaten him, they issue ultimatum, if you do this, I will do that. They come with a sense of self righteousness, like you feel you are better off than him. But it's not actually that you're better off. I may have been better off in dressing, but I may not be entirely better off in all areas of our lives. So if you look at life if you look at life holistically, you'll be able to understand that there are many areas where he is better off than you, and that you're looking up to him. Because if you're using one area where he is not as good as you want him to be, and you are now being self-righteous, I mean, it's going to undermine every other area of his life. And then I tell women not to try to talk their husbands into change. One of the things he could do, or it would definitely do, or it will definitely do, whether he changes or not, is that it is going to cool his feelings for him. So if you keep telling him do this, do that, and remember, it is not that what you're telling him is bad, what you're telling him is good, but your incessant telling him and trying to correct him has made you to become a nagging woman. And there's something the scripture says about the nagging woman. The nagging woman, that the man will prefer to live in the rooftop than to live in the house. So who is a nagging woman? The nagging woman is a woman who has talked a lot about the same thing over and over again. And please remember that the scripture did not say that this nagging woman is nagging about something wrong. You could be right, but you are nagging. So you're issuing ultimatum, you're threatening him, is you have a sense of superiority, you think you're better, probably you're making more money, you come from a better background, or you're more educated, you speak better grammar, whatever it is that makes you feel that you're superior to this man. Okay, so these are the ways, these are the methods that an average woman out there actually utilizes, trying to change their men or trying to improve them, but it does not work. And here is what you should do. There are times, I talk to them about in Feminine Wife Academy not to try to change him, but there are specific occasions where you may need to talk to him to try to change him, and in your bid to try to change him. And the first thing is when he is blind to his faults, okay, when he doesn't know that he's doing something, because I tell people there is a difference between tolerance and acceptance. There's a difference between tolerance and you're condoning evil. You're condoning evil means that you see something that is wrong and you don't say something about it. Tolerance is that I mentioned this, but I give you room to change. I mentioned that, but I give you room to change. So I'm not telling you that you are snoring and I'm expecting you to stop snoring overnight. Okay, that can be done. But tolerance means that I mentioned something to you, but I have this room in my heart that all I want you to know is to point you to your blind spots and ensure you see these blind spots and not trying to change you. It is like making you be aware of it. So if your man, if your husband is doing something and they are blind to it, they are unaware. It is your duty to make them become aware, and hence you are sure that they are aware, or he is aware of what he is doing. It is time to keep your mouth shut. The second thing is when he is abusing his children, keep quiet so that you don't get to break your child's spirit or maybe wound them physically. So you also have to, talk to him, mention it that this thing he's doing is not good. And then the third one is if there are things he's doing that you cannot afford to live with. Okay, it's also your duty to mention those things to him and ensure that he understands them. But there is a way you have to mention these things to him. How? It's not by criticizing him, cajoling him. And then one thing that women do a lot is that you bring another man and you want to use another man as a shining example. He will so resent it that, and he will resent you for saying that. So you don't use another man to compare with your husband, let alone verbally, telling him such things. Okay, so you don't do that at all. So what are the ways to mention these things to him? Number one, tell him what you expect of him. Some of us, all we do is to criticize. You don't do this, you don't do that. If you finish, what do you expect from him? What is expected from him? What is the good behavior? What does he change to? So if you want him to improve to something, don't tell him the wrong things. Begin to tell him, okay, this is what I expect of you. Okay, oh, this thing you did, I didn't expect it from you. Do you understand? So that way you are not saying, oh, I expected you to do this, I expected you to do that. That way he will know what your expectations are, and if this man is mindful, he will begin to make a mental note of them and be able to change when appropriate. I hope this is actually making sense. Then the second thing is to be feminine in your approach. Being feminine in your approach means bringing what you're saying like a suggestion and not like this is something you must do this, no. Would you mind? How about this? How about that? Would you mind doing this? Would you mind doing that? Would you mind helping me in this? Would you mind? That's a suggestion. And one thing that is good with suggestion is that it gives him the room to say yes or to say no. But when you come out so brashly and telling you must do this, most of them will come and tell you that I'm not going to do this, and heavens will not fall. And it will keep pulling his feeling, his affection for you. And then finally, how are you going to bring this up to him is be willing to give him time, or be willing to not have that thing happen immediately. So because some of us will be like, I've been telling you this thing, I've been telling you this thing, this one particular thing since we got married. I've been telling you. No. Okay, so probably what you are hampering on is a habit that he has lived with years before he got married to you. How else? How are you even expecting him, okay, to change overnight? Something he has done for a very long time. You too, you have something you have been doing that you have not changed. Okay, so it is you giving him time. That is what it means to also accept him and recognize that he is part fault and part virtue. He's not entirely bad. So if you begin to look at the bright side, it will help you. But sometimes when we're correcting a man, or when we're trying to mention something to a man, we're talking in a way that makes him look like he is entirely bad, but he's not. So choose to look at the good side, the bright side of his character too. Then the next scenario that you may also need to mention to when he does something wrong, when he does something that is morally wrong, that probably he told a lie and all that, and is against your personal virtues. Okay, also stand for it, but stand for it in a feminine manner. So let's look at the 7 steps on how you can accept a man. I hope this is making sense to you. This was actually what I did, and I am my husband's sweetheart. Okay, so let's dive right in. The first one is get rid of self-righteous attitudes. Most of the things I'm going to tell you are things you do on you, not on him, on you. Okay, so for example, if you are trying to change an alcoholic husband, someone who is into alcoholism, and you're saying this thing is killing you, it's killing your kidney, it's doing that, it's doing that. No, you are being self-righteous. If you really want to try to understand what it means to cut out a habit, is fast. Fast, or fast something you like, fast food. Stop eating, and then the hunger will chew you and you crave that food. In that way, you will begin to understand what you are telling this man to do by cutting off alcohol, because this is a taste he has built. I'm not saying that you like, I'm trying to make you to understand why you're making demand of him, because when you understand what your demands are, you'll be a lot more humble. You give him a lot more time and more freedom to become who he is. So get rid of what of self righteousness. Then the second thing is what? The second thing is give him room to be free. Even God, when he made Adam and put him in the garden, knew that giving this man the right of choice may mean that generations after him will fall into sin and things will be messed up. Yet he chose to still give him the freedom of choice. Some of us, a lot of men run away from the women, separate from the women because they are not free. They are walking on eggshell. They feel that they are walking on landmine. When they step on something, you complain. They step on this, you complain. You do this, you do that. But your children, you are picking after them. The people you're supposed to train, you're not training them. You're supposed to train your children and love your husband. But what you're doing now is that you're training your husband and loving your children. That's not how it should be. Okay, so give him freedom. Let him choose to watch the soccer match, to be a judge, to do whatever he wants to do. Remember, he is an adult, and maybe he's even probably older than you. So why do you even think that you have the right to correct him and make him better? So then the second thing is realize that he's part fault, part virtue. He's not entirely bad. Do not generalize. Don't say there is nothing good about you. I regret marrying you. I do this, I do that. No, don't ever do that. Remember, and always look to the bright side of his life. Then the fourth thing that you have to do is don't try to improve him. It is not your job to improve him. It is your job to accept him as he is. Okay, don't try to improve him. Then the fifth thing you have to do is don't use other men as a shining example. I've talked about it. it makes a man think that he doesn't live up to your standard, or that you admire another man more than you admire your own husband. So don't ever use your mentor, your teacher, your lecturer, your coach, your pastor as a shining example, or even your neighbor or his friends. Don't do that. Then the sixth thing you have to do is look to his better side. Always look to his better. When the things is doing wrong with you, begins to breathe down on you. Write down the things that you love about him, and also put your mind on them. At least there has to be, at least even if it is one good thing that this man does so well, focus on those things, focus on this thing, and then finally present your acceptance in words. Some of us, we accept this man, but we don't verbally appreciate him, we don't verbally tell him how good he is. I kept telling my husband that he's handsome. I know that a lot of men don't get this, like they don't get this kind of compliment. Women are used to, being told that they are beautiful. I kept telling my husband that he's handsome. When I started, he was brushing me off. He was alien to me. It wasn't something that he was just brushing it off. But I kept at it. I kept telling him, you're handsome, and I love you. You're handsome. You're good looking. You're this. You're that. And now he has sunk in. When I tell him, I see the way he smiles. He accepts the compliment. Okay, so properly appreciate him, properly tell him that you accept him, and even if you need to apologize, even if you need to apologize for the way you've treated him in the past, please kindly do so. Okay, so we've come to the end of learning how to accept him. This is part of the lessons in the Feminine Life Academy, and all we are doing is to try to help 1 million women sustain affection and have their men adore them in their marriage, and of course repair marriage, end separation, end divorce from the woman's perspective. And my name is Nekemi Nesmuti, and I am the lead faculty in the Feminine Life Academy. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and if you did not join this cohort, the next cohort will be starting soon, and we'll be announcing it. Please get ready to register, because it is all beautiful, all shades of beauty. See you next time. Bye bye.